Phoenix.
Wake up, it's time to see the love within, the heart that's free, free, free.
Be free.
Ever feared the future when having to do something?
Ever been unable to see positive sides of something?
Ever felt others were deciding what you may do?
Ever spent too much time wondering about a choice?
Ever felt guilty of having made a choice?
Ever blamed others for something you did?
Ever felt like coincidences aren't coincidences?
Have you answered yes to all 7 questions? Then, as I was, you're still likely into modern slavery, unconscious of your ability to get out of your mental cage and be happy. Again, some listeners will enjoy getting to the point when they listen to this podcast. For others, this introduction to the next episodes dealing with how to be yourself might be far too short. What are the next episodes about? They are about the way we can be on a daily basis and in our life in order to find our way to awakening and to put ourselves in the process of becoming. The different episodes of this podcast about waking up, about being, and, to conclude, about becoming, are strongly connected in a somewhat revolutionary and cyclical way, each cycle allowing you to develop yourself. From birth and even before, awakening is necessary to be and become. Being human is necessary to wake up and become. Having projects and goals is necessary to become oneself and be fully oneself, that is, a free human being. It is also a question of how to be a benevolent human being oneself, while continuing exchanges with those whose journey is not over. Objective: to continue to live in society and avoid isolating oneself. If you already have the intuition of all that remains to be heard in this podcast series, you can stop listening to it and advise it to someone less awake than you. Otherwise, rest assured, I will go straight to the point in the following episodes, which are intended to be short and easy to listen to. The concise aspect of this podcast is an invitation to other readings that develop the concepts evoked. I am not much into detailing things for too long.
Introduction. Being a unique human being.
All men are born free and equal in rights. However, each person is unique. Even identical twins are not identical. Everyone has disabilities and strengths. It also only takes a few seconds of browsing the internet for your browsing to be unique and transform you through your reading and interactions. Of course, the Earth cannot support an infinite number of people, but it seems obvious to me that there can be an infinity of unique human beings. Of course, we are part of groups and communities whose members share things with us. We have common traits with other people, but each one knows that he or she is unique in his or her soul and consciousness. And to come back to consciousness, we can go back to Descartes, Nietzsche, and Freud for that matter. But I will simply take it for granted here that every person is aware of his, her, or their uniqueness. Beyond uniqueness, many aspects of our lives are themselves unique. Thus, our reading history is unique, the trips we have made are unique, the series of experiences we have lived is unique. And so our ways of seeing, feeling, and being are unique. It's not easy to be unique. We all have models in front of our eyes that we have partly imitated. We are all partly copycats. But in order to wake up and be free, it is necessary to free ourselves from models, starting with those represented by our parents from birth or even before, or even longer before if we believe in reincarnation. Some may want to dig into their understanding of the Oedipus complex here. I will summarize my own interpretation in one sentence. To wake up, everyone must sooner or later symbolically kill the models who help them develop themselves. As far as I am concerned, I am awake. After more than 40 years of following models, I have understood that it is not a question of following a model. In fact, you must always try to surpass your master to be unique. Otherwise, we are not truly unique. We remain a simple copy, certainly a unique copy, but a copy. How to surpass one's master? Here, I will not allow myself to give detailed advice. It could be misinterpreted if it is too brief. The only thing I would say is that you have to think about surpassing your master. You have to try to become your own master with a lot of calm and patience, hence the expression self-mastery. To truly be a unique being is therefore to be original and creative. To do this, it must be understood that the slave, the follower, always has within him the potential to free himself from his or her master, the model. And then it is the model character, i.e. the master, who will probably become a follower after realizing that he has been overtaken. This does not come without conflict, collateral damage, and sometimes anger. The master who loses power over the slave may refuse the situation and create a conflict based on virtual concepts of hierarchy. But no, there is no valid hierarchy. We are all equals deep down and from birth. A hierarchy can only live when you give up on the idea of overtaking your model. Being a unique being and freeing oneself from models, therefore, also means freeing oneself from any hierarchy, but this takes time and mental efforts. To better understand this introduction, you can refer to Hegel's master-slave dialectic. On my end, I will conclude by introducing the following. Freeing oneself from models and hierarchies can generate violence and hate, because many, starting with politicians, are afraid of originals who do not respect the established hierarchy. Fear of people who are becoming free thinkers and dare doing what they were told not to do. To fully wake up, however, one must, like the Dalai Lama, advocate nonviolence, self-mastery. I feel fully unique, the association of a series of adjectives that stick to my being and that I will describe later. In the end, being a unique being is the only advice I could give if I stopped there. But until the final episode of this series, many will find advice applicable to their situation by sharing this reflection, my experiences and context. Be original and creative to become yourself.